Hey everyone, it's that Weekend Warrior. Before we get started, I want to say thank you to everyone that has subscribed to the channel, watched the videos, added comments, given positive support. It's truly appreciated. Also, this is a work in progress, so I'm trying to make sure things are constantly improving as I do more and more videos. Again, thank you, and I hope you're enjoying yourself. Now, on to today's topic, the Grail.
What is the secret of the Grail?
No, not that Grail. Not that one either.
Whoa, you guys realize what we could do?
Yep, that's right, collectibles. It could be toys, it could be video games, it could be records, comics, whatever it may be. Each of us has an item that we consider to be a grail, right? Whether it's the fact that it's worth a lot of money and we want to have it, or it's an item that goes in a collection to complete that whole collection, right? Or maybe it's something that you had as a kid that you don't have anymore and you want it back, and that the grail is that nostalgic feeling. So think of this episode as sort of a show and tell, if you will. All right, let's begin. The first item on my list is the Alchemy Index Volumes 1 through 4 by Thrice. Originally released in 2 parts in 07 to 08, I have this on CD. I've listened to it for years. It's one of the most inspirational records for me, but I didn't own it on vinyl. I never thought I would own it on vinyl, to be honest with you. I would always check, and it just was so much money, and it was just, I didn't want to pull the trigger. And then in 2017, they announced they were doing a repress. Something fun happened with this. Well, I shouldn't say fun. It was very stressful for me, but it's fun looking back on it now. Is they announced it and they said that, you know, the pre-order was going to open at this time, right? And so I set an alarm and was ready to go. And then I got a text from a buddy of mine. He was like, "Hey, did you get yours?" I'm like, "Get what?" He goes, "The record." I'm like, it doesn't drop for pre-order until like, for like another 2 hours. He was like, "Oh, it was already open. I already got mine." So I missed it. Not long after that, one of the band members got on social media and apologized that it went live before it was supposed to, and that they were going to be doing a secondary run of this and then the check back at this time. So I am in the mall in Jacksonville with my family shopping on Black Friday. So it's packed, and I'm holding my phone up trying to get a signal to complete this purchase. This is one of the most inspirational records to me. I love this so much. It's beautiful. It is a photo album. It's leather bound. Each record is colored to represent the element that it coincides with, and it is absolutely one of my favorite things. Next up is the NECA TMNT movie toys. You're probably thinking to yourself like, well, what about all the stuff behind you? Yes, those are very important to me. But these NECA figures, I never thought I was going to get them. Just to be perfectly honest with you, the price tag was just too much that I wanted to spend at the time. And at this time, I also was just getting back into collecting. So I didn't know like the little tips and tricks of like what to look at on eBay to see what things go for and everything. So I happened upon them at a Funko event about 2.5 years ago. The vendor was there. They had them behind their table, and I was like, "Are those for sale or are they just for show?" They're like, "Well, we brought it just to see if maybe someone wanted." I'm like, yes. They were awesome. They worked with me on the price, and I have them, and they're one of my favorite things as well. The movie is it's one of my favorite movies of all time, and also just those toys are so beautifully sculpted, and absolutely love them. So yes, number 2, NECA Turtles. This next one is actually pretty fun. My wife and I were visiting family in Virginia, and we went into a store out there that sells toys, games, records, music equipment, books, comics, stuff like that. And we go every year that we're out there visiting with family, and I'm just walking around the corner and had to do a double take and saw this Masters of the Universe record tote. What's funny about it is I was just talking to my wife about it would be neat if we found these little vintage record totes as decor, because we're big record people, to put throughout the house. And I found this. I've never seen it before. I didn't know it existed. I wasn't seeking it. It was just there. And it had the Toys R Us sticker still on it. So it hit all the pluses for me. It had all the feels that I needed. Had to come home with me. Motu record tote, definitely a Grail item for me. The last item on my list is The Legend of Zelda, the original for the Nintendo. When I was like 8 or 9 years old, I went to a sleepover and my friend's brother had a Nintendo and he was playing this game. It changed everything for me as a kid. We played that game all night, each of us trying to find pieces of the Triforce, trying to find new hidden areas in all the dungeons, and just, it was a world I'd never seen. I grew up with a Coleco and an Atari, but those were my brothers and sisters. This was, it felt like it was made for me. The next day, I immediately was just talking about the Nintendo and Legend of Zelda over and over and over to my parents, and then eventually, you know, report cards came out, and my dad took me to Toys R Us, and he bought me a Nintendo with Super Mario Brothers and The Legend of Zelda. This game is what started it all. It's one of my favorite things in my collection. It's one of the things I have on display. I have taken as best care of it as I could. There's a little bit of wear on it, but it is such an important game, and it is such an important memory for me, and it's why it's one of my favorite items in my collection, and it is absolutely a Grail. Well, those were some of my Grail items. What do you have in your collection? Leave those in the comments below. Again, I appreciate your time. If you can, subscribe, and if you click the bell, you'll get notified when I drop new videos. Have a wonderful day. Take care.